What is up, YouTube? Happy Tuesday to everybody. Coming at you live from the dentist office parking lot. The best place to shoot videos on all of YouTube. I got great news for all the Clemson people out there, like myself. Look, we've been clamoring for the past 4 weeks. What is going on with this football team? A top 10, top 4 actually, preseason team. A lot of people had Clemson in the playoffs. A lot of people had Clemson winning the ACC. A lot of people had Clemson. Some people even had Clemson winning a national championship or being in competition for it at the very least. Cade Klubnik, atop of many Heisman lists preseason. What in the world has happened and what in the world has gone wrong in such a short amount of time? Well, I got good news for you. Daboisms got it all figured out. It's great news. We should win the rest of our games. Now that we've got it figured out, we should win the rest of our games. Dabo said yesterday that if you change absolutely nothing, not the play calling, not the personnel, not the coaching, not the bad tackling, not the running back situation, nothing but one thing. He said, if Clemson had 0 turnovers, they'd be 4-0. Can you believe that? He's got it figured out. All this time, all they had to do was have 0 turnovers. This is great news. So I'm assuming for the remainder of the season, there'll be 0 turnovers and 8 wins. So we'll finish the season 9-3. And Daboisms will ride off into the sunset talking about how much of an amazing success that this season is. This is just another Daboism. He's got a long list of Daboisms over the years. Some of them are cute and funny, right? BYOG, all that. Bring your own guts. Okay, that's all great when you're winning, I guess. But some of these other Daboisms are just leaving people scratching their heads. Sometimes I wonder if Dabo hears himself talk. Let's think about some of the Daboisms that we've heard just in the past couple of years. Okay? And this season. Starting back to the first game of last season. I made a video about this. After Clemson got their doors knocked off week 1 against Georgia, Dabo comes out afterwards and says, hey, I told the team after we lost to Georgia, winning is not what's important. He said that. He's actually said it again this year. Every time they lose and get embarrassed on the football field, he feels the need to let everybody know that it's not about winning, which is literally what they're paying him $11.5 million to do, is win. They're not coaching him to be a youth pastor. They're not coaching him to have the highest graduation rate in the country, which is great, by the way. I'm not poo-pooing on that. That's an amazing thing. I think it's an amazing thing. These guys, 99% of these guys will never play it down in the NFL. They should be graduating. So that's a great thing. But that has nothing to do with the football game. What's the other Daboisms that we heard? We're only a couple of plays away from being undefeated, right? The ball bounces this way, ball bounces that way. That's the difference between being 3-1 and 1-3. Nothing to see here. And now this, if you just eliminate just the turnovers and nothing else, because everything else is great, then we'd be undefeated. So it's unbelievable sometimes the things that he says, and I can't believe it even comes into his mind. But I certainly can't believe that he doesn't hear himself say these things and say, well, what in the hell am I talking about? Because everybody else from the outside is looking at this and going, what in the hell are you talking about? Every team in the country, if they didn't turn the ball over at all, would win a shit ton more games. That's not a Clemson thing. That's an every team thing. And if it were such a revelation, how come every other coach in the country isn't out there saying the same thing? You want to know why? Because it's asinine to say. There's a lot of problems with the coaching. There's a lot of problems with the personnel. Now, leading into the North Carolina game this week, I believe North Carolina was on a bye last week as well. We go into Chapel Hill this week, 1-3. We're taking on I think North Carolina's 2-2. Anyway, I think they're 2-2. This is not a good football team, North Carolina. Now, up until this point, to be fair, neither has Clemson been. But from a talent standpoint, and now I feel like I'm a broken record at this point. Keep bringing up the talent differential between us and our opponents. That hasn't seemed to matter in most of the games. Obviously, we're more talented on paper than Syracuse. Obviously, we're more talented on paper than Georgia Tech. Obviously, we're more talented on paper than Troy. I guess the only outlier where you can't really make a talent differential is against LSU. Turns out LSU is not that great of a team. I still think they're a very good team. But anyway, North Carolina is extra bad. I believe I read this morning they are 132nd overall in total yards offensively per game. That's out of 133 teams, I believe. So they're at the bottom of the barrel offensively. Now, look, Clemson's not much better. I mean, Clemson is somewhere around 100, I think. So, I mean, it's not like they're lighting the world on fire by any stretch of the imagination. But Clemson's much more solid. Even as bad as they are, they're more solid and well-rounded at virtually every position on offense. Wide receiver, running back, quarterback, the whole deal. North Carolina, they had to rebuild their team through the transfer portal because everybody left. And really, their best player that they had the past 3 years coming into this year is in the NFL, lighting the NFL on fire. Shout out to Amarion Hampton. He's on my fantasy team, and he's killing it. But yeah, so he was a big part of their offense. Their quarterback's not playing well at all. I mean, there's not really anything good to say about North Carolina's offense. Defensively, they're also, well, they're not near as bad defensively. I think they're ranked somewhere around 60, 65, somewhere between 60 and 65 overall defensively, which is right around what Clemson is too. So defensively and especially red zone defense, they're very good red zone defense. Between the 20s, not so great. Yeah, average at best. Red zone defense for North Carolina is very good. I expect, and I really hesitate to say this, I said this last night on the Lunch Money Show with Uncle Lou, is that I really expect Clemson to come out here and put their foot on North Carolina's neck. And don't ask me why. Why would I believe that? They haven't put their foot on anybody's neck in a long time. So why would I believe that? Well, it has less to do with Clemson, I think, and more to do with North Carolina. I think that they're just a complete disaster in virtually every way. And I think coming off the bye week, hopefully Clemson can finally put together. I'm not going to say a complete game because I don't think they are going to put together a complete game, but a more complete game, particularly offensively. So that's my prediction. That's my prediction for this weekend, is that Clemson will come out and roll. Will that make me feel better about this team and this season? Maybe a little. I mean, to watch them go out and dominate an opponent that they should dominate might make me feel a little bit better moving forward. But it doesn't really. It's not a cure-all. It's not a fix-all. Dabo did say yesterday, one thing he said that I thought was interesting, and something that us fans and other people, media analysts or whatever you want to call them, have been saying since week one, is the personnel situation. A lot of these players that are getting paid a lot of money through NIL and all that, and were highly touted before the season, just aren't performing, don't even appear to be giving 100% effort, which is the more alarming thing. It's okay to have a bad game or whatever, but when it appears as if you're not even trying 100%, that's a huge red flag. I've been saying, a lot of people have been saying, hey, look, I don't care if this guy's get $1 million NIL deal. That doesn't matter. If he's not giving it his all, put the second string guy in who probably wants it more because he wants a starting spot. As long as he's giving 100% effort, maybe we can get a better result on the field. And that goes for both sides of the football, both offense and defense. I'm not singling in or singling out any particular position or player. But he said yes. He said that was one thing in the off week that they really looked at, was making personnel changes. If whoever's starting is not giving the effort and or performing the way that they expect them to perform. Now, to me, that's great news to hear because that's the first time I've heard him say it. But it's one thing to say it, it's a whole nother thing to do it. And it's also very frustrating that it took losing 3 games through 4 games for them to come to this realization, because we've been saying it since week 1, and he's just now getting around to it. It took a bunch of losses for them to take a look in the mirror and take a look at the roster. He also took accountability. You know, it's not just the players. We had to basically start from scratch and look at the way that we're coaching them and try to fix some of the coaching problems too. So look, outside of the dumb comment about the turnovers, he's saying all the right things leading into North Carolina and looking into the rest of the season. Still got a lot of season left. He's saying all the right things, but he's been saying some of these same things since week 1. When he talked about, not after the LSU game, everyone's like, why didn't you run the ball more? I mean, you're averaging 5, 6, 7 yards a run. Why aren't you running the ball more? Well, yeah, I'm actually kind of disappointed that we didn't run the ball more. Then it's, after the Syracuse game, everyone's like, okay, well, it's great that Adam Randall had such a great game. He averaged 8 or 9 yards a carry. He had 130 yards and a couple touchdowns. Like, that's an amazing performance and a loss against Syracuse. But how come we're not seeing number 9, Gideon Davidson? How come we're not seeing Eazy-E? And he goes, yeah, it's disappointing. We probably really should be rotating more running backs into the cycle and not putting it all in number 8. So it's always after the fact. He's like, yeah, we should have done this, we should have done that. When average people like me and you are watching the game live, we're not even coaching in it. We're just fans sitting on our couch, and we're going, why are they not rotating in more running backs? Why are they not running the ball in this situation on 3rd and 2 and 4th and 1? And then after the game, he goes, yeah, we should have done that. Well, no crap. So again, it's one thing to say it, and it's a whole nother thing to actually do what you say that you should have done and make the changes. So that is the main thing that myself and a lot of other fans are looking for this week in Chapel Hill. Are you going to do those things that you've been talking about for 4 weeks saying that you should have done? That's what we're looking for. And more importantly, we're looking for a win. And not just a win, a convincing, dominant win like you should have. Anyway, you guys make sure you hit the thumbs up and all that. There's this new feature on YouTube now. It's called the hype button. You'll see it down there. It's right by the like button or whatever. Hit that hype button. It's free. Apparently that sends the video out in the algorithm to more people who aren't subscribed already and all that. And that helps me out. So I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment below and have a good day.